Valley, pocketed in Jamaica, Queens. So part of that sort of growing Muslim population that we have on our campus. He went to the Brooklyn Tech, quite a commute, right? That must have been logistical
for sure.
challenge from home. And he majored in software engineering, and he was the president of the Young Entrepreneurs Association and directed a TEDx event in the school associated with how communications were changing with the increase in technology. He's a second-year student now at Queens, pursuing, because he's two majors that are not too complicated: computer science and economics. Right? He is one of the 4 students in the economics BBA business program that has received the Steven Herrera Scholarship in 2018. Another Queens College alum who's been very generous in supporting students, particularly in economics when he graduated. And he would be a software engineering intern at Capital One this upcoming summer, so he will know what's in your wallet. And in his free time, computer science and engineering, right? He is the captain of an intramural flag football team, and is also learning to beef up his cooking skills under the apprenticeship of his mother. So obviously, for anybody who has daughters of dating age, the guy's going to be computer science, economics, he cooks, he plays football. So what are we going to do applause? Why don't you come and give us a
Good evening, fellow guests and alumni, QC faculty. I just quickly want to say that was an amazing introduction. Thank you very much. I've always wanted to sort of be in this sort of platform where I can speak to an audience where President Matos isn't part of the audience. So today is like sort of, in a way, a dream come true. But this audience is more than just students. It's alumni and people who provide sort of Queens College's endowment funds and scholarships. So I'm very honored to be in front of you all. Thank you very much. So before I begin my little... Before I can sort of begin my spiel or whatever I wanted to say, I want to sort of share a story I had with a major classmate yesterday. So his name is Brendan, and I'm walking to my class. And Brendan, he looks at the stack of notebooks I have. I took it out of my backpack, and he's like, "Lord have mercy on you." And a little backstory of who Brendan is. So you guys know back in the day when you guys went to college, and even still now, you're part of like whatever jobs, and most of you here are RC and are retired, which is nice. You know, you have like one of these friends who you see from in the back of the hall room, you just feel so happy, like, oh, I can't wait till I meet him, right? So Brendan is not one of those guys. Brendan is somebody who I sort of want to avoid in a way. Brendan is somebody who I wouldn't say is the best student in computer science. But when you talk to him, he pulls out the dictionary. He's using these big words as if he's smart. So anyways, Brendan comes to me. He starts looking at my notebooks, and he starts counting them. 1, 2, 3. How many classes are you taking? 4, 5, 6, 7. You're taking 7 classes? And I'm like, no, I have 2 more in my hands. And so the question is, you're wondering, why am I taking 9 classes? So before I tell you why, let me tell you how. I'm managing 9 classes. Not all classes are the same difficulty. My computer science classes are way harder than my liberal arts classes. And so I realized early on that, if I mix and match, take some hard classes, take some easy classes, take some medium classes, I could take more than the average student. Take maybe 7, maybe 8 classes. And I didn't just end up with this theory one day. And the way I came to this idea of taking all these classes is, freshman year, I'm about to start Queens College, or just started, just first week or 2. I make a list of all the classes I have to take to graduate. 120 credits, probably the same back in the day. 120 credits, 1 major, computer science. And I, trying to finish in 4 years, and I realized, I got some credits from high school, and I don't really need to take 5 classes a semester. I can get out taking 4 classes a semester. So I was like, yo, I'm really passionate about one day starting my own company and majoring in economics or having some business acumen could be helpful. So why not see if I can fit in economics with that degree and sort of graduate in 4 years. So I map out my classes and I see I could very physically graduate in 4 years with 2 degrees, taking like 5 classes each semester. And I was like, okay, why don't I take an extra class every other semester? And so I did that. And now I could possibly graduate in 3.5 years. And I was like, okay, instead of taking an extra class every other semester, why don't I take 2 extra classes every other semester and just have a semester off? And so I sort of mapped a way where I could graduate in 3 years. And I was like, you know what? Instead of double majoring, why don't I just minor in economics and just major in computer science? And so now I'm on track to sort of finish my entire college degree, BA in computer science and economics minor, by upcoming fall in 2.5 years. So it's like I think you guys being here in a way shows that you've done well in your field. It's not every alumni that comes here. And part of, I think, that helps me being good at, whatever thing I do, I try to do well, is having a vision, sort of like a direction, sort of like a GPS. Like, driving without a GPS, you have no sense of direction. Having a vision, and this concept of having a vision was sort of introduced to me by a psychologist. His name is Mohammed Hassan. And he grew up in my local community, and he was sort of like a mentor figure to me as a kid. And he introduced to me a concept called Project Life Mastery, where you have all these roles in your life, the things you do, currently you do, and where you see yourself doing those things in 10 years. So me going to the gym, me studying, whatever degree I'm doing, what am I going to be in 10 years? Long story short, this guy's been a big mentor to me. I met him, since I was a kid, and I meet him again 2 weeks ago. And he asked me a question. He's like, Yassine, what year are you in? And I'm like, yo, that's a good question. I'm in a really weird situation where I'm a sophomore, being a second-year student. I'm a junior in terms of credits, but at the same time, I'm a senior, knowing that I'm about to graduate by next semester. So I'm really honored to be in this situation, and I want to first say that it's not every single day where I came and I thought I would be here. Starting Queens College, actually, and this might not be sounding nice to the president or the Alumni Association, but to be honest, I wasn't really so thrilled starting Queens College. And I never thought that I would appreciate where I am now. And sort of, I have all this feeling like, what am I doing here? Or maybe I'll transfer out one day. And I started involving myself with these different communities. I started being part of a bunch of clubs, Latino professionals on campus, an ACM club. The tech incubator was big with me. I was just walk in, I used to just introduce myself sort of like today, and be like, hey, my name is Yassine, is there anything I can do for you? Sort of trying to see if I can be a software engineering major. When do you want to be an entrepreneur? This is my spiel. Nice to meet you. So I kept doing this for like a few months. And slowly but surely, I started gaining some traction. I realized, maybe this isn't such a bad place. Maybe I'll just end up staying here and graduate in 4 years. This will be my home. And this was this past year, like my freshman year. And over summer, me being me, took summer class. I took 4 summer classes. I felt very honored to receive a scholarship, Stephen Herrera Scholarship, which selected 4 students, as President Matos mentioned. And this was sort of like a deal breaker. Like, now QC is my home. This is where I want to be, right? This is something I never imagined. Never thought I would just wonderfully just get myself a little scholarship. And so that's when I started becoming more proud of my association with QC. And so now you might be thinking, okay, this guy's set. You got your things figured out. You know what? I said Project Life Mastery. When I started Queens College, I had a vision of one day graduating as a valedictorian, and that vision's not happening. And I'm really happy it's not happening, because I sort of, on purpose, screwed up my classes big time, so I could go to these hackathons. And I want these hackathons to do well, and I want to do well because I knew that if I did well in hackathons, those of you who don't know hackathons are sort of like a weekend where you go to some college campus usually, and you just have like a sort of business idea or social good idea, and you create it. You create the app, you create the website, whatever it is. So I've been to 7 of these. And I'm very thankful for being to 7 of these because of these hackathons, I'm able to apply to a lot of companies and also hear about get interviews. And so I've interviewed with a lot of big companies, and I'm so happy to be there, and I'm happy to be part of Queens College. And I was like, you know what? Somebody told me when I started Queens College that you would end up liking Queens College, and this is a really nice home for you. I would not believe it. But I decided to do that. I decided to find out other freshmen who are sort of bigger than their shoes, who are a little bright, and who sort of may not think that Queens College is a home for them, or are sort of lost in the trajectory that they want to be in. So Queens College did this program with Google this past summer, and I met a few freshmen over there. And so I met up with them and told them, hey, I see you're very motivated. I want to start a little thing with you where I can help you with your careers. So where I can sort of help you find the nice gems in Queens College, as I like to say it. The things that community is associated with. And so now I started a little thing called Zuckerberg Squad, Mark Zuckerberg. And so I have a bunch of freshmen who are who I'm working with in applying to jobs and finding the right places, and really just finessing their way in Queens College. And I just want to say one last thing, because I know I'm way out of time. In my Comlet 215W class that I'm taking this semester, my professor, Stephen Herman, this is a Comlet modern literature class. I don't know why he's doing it. He introduced an anthropology topic, and he introduced an anthropology thing. The guy's name is Edward Said. You guys may know him. And he has a really famous quote, and it's called, "Culture is a possessing possession." Culture is a possessing possession. You define culture, but it defines you. And so, Queens College defines me, and I'm proud of it. At the same time, I also define Queens College, and I hope you guys can help us do that. Thank you very much.